All right, the Detroit Lions get some bizarre news. Two bizarre things that kind of interesting. So first one, maybe you've seen this by now, but the Detroit Lions have cut mandatory minicamp because, and this is just where Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they just get it. The preseason or the offseason has been shortened because the Lions play a fourth preseason game because they're in that extra Hall of Fame game. So that means they got to get to practice a week earlier. So Dan Campbell said, hey, instead of us doing OTAs, minicamp, rookie minicamp, all this stuff, we're going to cut one of those, just come in early. You know the players love that because they're looking at the schedule being like, dude, we got to be in practice here. That game is July 31st, so they got to be at practice. I don't know, mid-July. Like that cuts their summer. I get it. That's like whatever, not that big a deal, but also it is. That's two weeks earlier. They got to come in. So just as a really cool move by Dan Campbell to say we're not going to do one of those things. So here it is. You've got rookie minicamp, OTA week 1, OTA week 2. They get done June 5th, and then Then we'll see them again mid-July. But there's an OTA in there as well, another like mandatory minicamp outside of this. Not going to have that. So that. You'd never see that. I didn't even know you could do that. We're not doing that. And so shout out to Dan Campbell and the Lions for just saying we're not doing it. And that's kind of interesting. Other one that's kind of crazy, we're not giving enough love to, is the bizarre pick of Dan Jackson. Super interesting that he was a walk-on turned starter for Georgia. I think that's cool, walk-on. It's like, no, Kirby Smart said this is one of the greatest stories in college football that nobody talks about. Like, he didn't like walk on because we called him and said, hey, let's do it. He got into school here and said, hey, coach, I'd like to play football at Georgia. At Georgia, during their just height of all heights, going toe-to-toe with Alabama, doing all the things that they've done over the last 5 years. He's a 5-year player. This dude's interesting and is somebody we got to keep an eye on. Athletically, he's really good. PFF put him as, I just had that up, as their favorite pick that the Lions had. Here's why it's going to be interesting is because he's a special teamer right out of the gates, but rotational safety for the Lions. Remember, we let Melanfonwu. We let him walk. We don't have a lot of safety depth outside of that. We got our two main safeties, of course. We needed this. So Dan Jackson is a really good player with a bizarre story of just being at Georgia. It's not like he was at, name your small school, Marshall. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to try out for the football team. This is the powerhouse of all powerhouses over these last couple of years here. And he gets on there and is a starter and then gets drafted. So interesting. Now, the other interesting part about this dude, he's 5'11", 194. Nothing crazy jumps out to you from him athletically or production-wise even. But the tape is interesting. And he was projected to go in the 5th or 6th round. We get him in the 7th. Kind of get a little steal there as well. He's really physical in the run game. He can cover. He gets downhill, fearlessness, pursues with leverage. But this is what we know, right? Doesn't have the length, doesn't have some of the athletic ability, doesn't have the burst. But the film shows that he's just a really good player. You're like, okay, I'm in for that. So interesting how the Lions have kind of filled this out. And you see this with draft trades now. And this is why this is so important. The Lions in all of their draft trades, like that, they got picks back. So they just weren't straight up losing picks. So it's like, hey, we'll give you next year's thirds, but you got to give us back not only the pick that we want, but throw us a 7th rounder. Give us 2 6th rounds and we'll give you 2 thirds. You don't want to lose the actual pick because you never know. And Dan Jackson is a perfect example of that. And I'm excited to see what he kind of brings because let me go up here. I mean, this is the type of hits that he can provide. Hello. Kirby, I keep wanting to call him Kirby Joseph. Kirby Smart loves him. Like I said, 5 years with Georgia. The Lions are now getting guys that just love football, and we see it over and over. And I know that like every team's trying to do that. Oh, we want guys that love football. Yeah, I know, but the Lions do it in a different way. You've heard Jared Goff talk about on podcasts, like, we're just surrounded by a bunch of really good players that love being out here and want to play hard for each other and just love football. Dan Jackson is one of those guys. And I mean, it's just crazy because I've never seen anything like it. Okay, so here it is. He's just a redshirt walk-on, 2020. So really, 6 year. So he's played in all 15 games with 4 starts for the national champions. Played in 7 games, played in 11 games, 13 all SEC, played in 14 games, 13 starts, right in there. Special teams, 64 tackles, 20. I mean, over his career, he's got over 100 tackles. Missed a little time with a foot injury here. Interesting player. So, yeah, as you look at the Lions now, you look at defensive line kind of rounded out with our first round pick that we desperately needed. And I think we all knew it, but we were all focused on edge. But when you get that defensive tackle that can help alleviate some of the pain of Aleem McNeil not going to be there. So defensive line, I don't hate. Plus we got Hassanin from Boise State at the edge. That defensive line is I feel much better about it. Linebackers are all back, feel good. Malcolm Rodriguez, even at some depth pieces. So linebackers all good. Defensive backs all good. So defensively, I feel as complete defensively as I've felt in a long time, and that feels good. Offensively, we know perimeter's all set. We got wide receivers are all set. Offensive line looks so much better after the draft. We got 2 or 3 guys that we can really put in there as starters / depth. And then we got elite running backs, great quarterback. We're a good team. And it's just like, all right, let's go. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, I would love if you subscribe. And we just cover the Lions all day, every day, and all about it. And by the way, I don't know when you're going to watch this. The Pistons are on tonight. Man, living and dying with the Pistons. I forgot how stressful basketball was. We haven't watched a meaningful Pistons game in a really long time. So I was like, oh, man, these last couple games pretty stressful. See if they can get it done tonight. Talk to you soon. Thanks.